Two titans of the New York music scene hits the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Why 50 Cent was brought up this week during emotional witness testimony. Combs and 50, they've been at odds for a long time. And now, one of them is facing the possibility of spending the rest of their life in federal prison, and the other is not holding back or hiding the apparent joy they find in that possibility happening with the...
You won't believe what's happening right now because the drama between 50 Cent and Diddy has exploded into something that feels bigger, darker, and far more personal than anyone ever expected. Let's be honest, 50 Cent has never been the type to bite his tongue. He's the guy who says it straight, sharp, and unapologetically brutal. Forget the Hollywood fake smiles and backhanded whispers. When 50's got something on his mind, he throws it out like a grenade for the whole world to watch detonate. But this time, this time is different. This isn't just one of his usual digs, not another playful jab on social media. This feels like war. This feels like a full-on demolition of Diddy's carefully polished empire. The way 50's coming at him, it's not trolling, it's not banter, it's a straight-up takedown. And at the heart of it, the disturbing secrets Diddy has spent decades hiding.
Diddy Combs and 50 Cent. These two go back a long time. They have been rivals for a long time. And this week we learned that, at least from Diddy's side of things, this feud apparently went far beyond words. 50 Cent's name came up during the testimony this week of Capricorn Clark. She is a former assistant of Sean Combs who went on to become the head of marketing for his Sean John clothing brand. Clark rose successfully and professionally through the ranks of Diddy's world during her time working for him, which stretched between 2004 to 2018, so she saw a lot. Clark claimed that Diddy would threaten her, and she says he even kidnapped her in 2011. All of this matters as we build up to how 50 Cent kind of factors into what she said on the stand. Now, Capricorn Clark started working for Bad Boy after she worked for Death Row Records. Now that's surprising, since Death Row was ran by perhaps Diddy's most hated enemy, Suge Knight. Clark said that one of her good friends had a baby with Suge Knight, and that's how she knew him. And in perhaps the most shocking story from her testimony, Clark claimed that shortly after she started working for Diddy, Diddy and his security guards took her to Central Park after dark, and Diddy said, quote, "He told me he didn't know that I had anything to do with Suge Knight, and if anything happened, he would have to kill me." It is an allegation that paints Combs as someone who is ready to take a life. But as Capricorn Clark's testimony continued, she brought up another rival of Sean Diddy Combs and another allegation that he made an ominous threat of violence. Clark testified, when working for Diddy, they went to a press event at MTV and 50 Cent was there. And just wait until you hear what she says Diddy told 50's manager. 50 Cent's real name is Curtis Jackson. He rose to fame in the early 2000s. You might remember songs like In the Club. You might remember that he was the leader of the rap group G-Unit. Now, 50 grew up in Jamaica, Queens, New York. Diddy, also a New York native. He was born in Harlem, grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, just about 20 miles away. And even though they both had success in music, they both rose to fame representing the city of New York and the rap scene there, they have been longtime rivals. In 2006, 50 Cent released a diss track about Diddy. So almost 20 years ago, this goes back a long way. And in that diss track, he says, quote, "Who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get them. They gon' kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that expletive. Man, that expletive soft." Now, 50 is accusing Combs there of knowing who killed his friend, the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. Wallace and Puffy were incredibly close, but Wallace was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles in 1997, and no one has ever been charged for pulling the trigger. This all happened during really the height of the East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry of the 90s, which involved Suge Knight, who we mentioned earlier. 50 Cent has also accused Diddy of orchestrating the murder of death row rapper Tupac Shakur, who died in 1996 in a Las Vegas drive-by shooting. This is Dwayne Keith D. Davis. He was arrested in September 2023, and he is the only person facing charges related to Tupac's murder. But 50 Cent has continued to push the allegation that Sean Combs either knows something or did something.
Now, let's talk about why this is hitting so hard. You see, 50 Cent doesn't just throw shade for shock value. That man builds narratives. He connects dots you didn't even know existed. He makes you rethink every single headline you've ever read about Diddy, every weird rumor, every that strange moment in his career. And by the time 50 is done painting the picture, it doesn't feel like gossip anymore. It feels like truth. Painful, uncomfortable, career-destroying truth. And that's exactly why Diddy's breaking down in rage right now. Because this isn't some random internet troll trying to drag him. No, this is 50 Cent. Someone with real credibility, real power, and a massive platform. And he's pulling skeletons out of Diddy's closet one by one, putting them on display for the entire world to gawk at. Over the past few months, 50's been absolutely relentless. Poking at Diddy, mocking him online, spotlighting the strangest and darkest stories about his infamous parties, and let's not forget calling out the mountain of lawsuits piling up against him. At first, people laughed it off. Oh, that's just 50 being 50, they said. But the more time went on, the more it became clear this wasn't a joke. This wasn't banter. The evidence of Diddy's troubled empire is everywhere now. And with 50's impeccable timing, he's cranked the volume so high that ignoring it isn't even an option anymore. And Diddy, he knows it. That's why behind closed doors, he's boiling, raging, unraveling piece by piece, because he sees what's happening. The curtain is coming down.
Assault, sexual harassment, and sex trafficking over a string of lawsuits. 50 Cent says he's been very vocal about not going to Diddy's now infamous parties, which have been alleged as the site of some of the heinous acts he's been accused of. While referring to Diddy as his old moniker Puffy, 50 Cent said, "I've been very vocal about not going to Puffy parties and doing stuff like that. I've been staying out of that stuff for years. It's an uncomfortable energy connected to it." When asked if someone told 50 Cent if the energy there was off or if he went to something that felt odd, 50 replied, "He asked to take me shopping. I thought that was the weirdest stuff in the world, because that might be something that a man says to a woman." He would go on to say, "From that, I wasn't comfortable around him." 50 Cent would go on to discuss the brutal hotel surveillance video released in May, which showed the Bad Boy founder horrifically attacking his ex-girlfriend Cassie. That incident was mentioned in Cassie's now settled lawsuit against Diddy, in which Diddy allegedly paid $50,000 for the tape. Once that video was made public, Diddy issued a public apology. However, didn't mention Cassie by name, as it's been reported Diddy is no longer able to say her name publicly as a part of their settlement.
I was f***ed up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy. Going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
The video was published to Diddy's Instagram, but has since been scrubbed from his page. Diddy's rival 50 Cent had choice words about the brutal video, saying first he denied that even happened, and then the tape comes out, so that means everything that N-word says is a lie. When someone watches that, if they have a daughter and they can imagine her being under those circumstances, that stuff is crazy. Like they let him get away with it. With all the influence and power you have, the person you're with is supposed to be a part of your life, not be forced. 50 Cent has long touted his plans to make a docu-series about his longtime rival. When asked what made 50 want to produce the series, he replied in part, "I'm the only one from hip-hop culture that's produced quality projects." 50 Cent and Diddy have collaborated on a few songs together, and when 50 was an unsigned rapper more than 20 years ago, he used to ghostwrite for the Bad Boy founder. But 50 Cent made it clear the two just worked together. He replied in part, "I wouldn't call it a friendship because there would be disappointment between us if we didn't speak to each other. There's points that we work together." 50 Cent would go on to credit Jennifer Lopez, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, who 50 Cent said told Diddy he would work with him as a songwriter in the beginning of his career. 50 Cent said this occurred when he was getting back to work after being shot several times in May of 2000. He would recall, though, one time when Diddy called and 50's oldest son's mother answered the phone and 50 refused to talk to Diddy. 50 would go on to say he didn't want to answer the phone because he didn't want to ever party or hang out with him. He replied, "Puff is a business person. When people call him a producer, I see people that were taken advantage of who produce things that he took from them. He got credit."
When 50 Cent talks about Diddy's past, he doesn't just toss out rumors, he paints a chilling picture. And honestly, once you see it, you can't unsee it. He's laying out a narrative of a man who didn't just build an empire through talent and hustle, but through manipulation, exploitation, and control. Think about it. How many artists came up under Bad Boy Records shining bright for a moment, only to mysteriously fade into obscurity, one after another, gone? Their careers fizzled out while Diddy thrived, untouched, always at the top. And now, 50 is daring everyone to ask the uncomfortable question. Was Diddy ever really building people up, or was he just using them until he got what he wanted, then discarding them like trash? And 50 doesn't stop there. Oh no, he goes even deeper, straight into the shadows where the whispers live, those infamous parties, the ones people in the industry know about but rarely talk about out loud. Rooms filled with celebrities, strangers, and an atmosphere so thick with secrecy it feels suffocating. Lines blurred, rules shattered, and in the middle of it all, Diddy, 50 Cent isn't afraid to drag that darkness right into the spotlight. He dares people to connect the dots, to look at those whispers, line them up against the lawsuits surfacing now, and realize this isn't some wild conspiracy. This is the ugly truth bubbling to the surface. And that's where Diddy's mask slips. That's where the rage inside him becomes impossible to hide. Because let's face it, these aren't little secrets. These are bombs. The kind of secrets that don't just dent a career, they obliterate legacies. If the world truly believes what's coming out now, it's game over for Diddy. No amount of PR spin or expensive lawyers can patch this up. Once these stories see daylight, there's no going back. And here's what makes this moment so explosive. 50 Cent has absolutely nothing to lose.
With 50 Cent. Here's what Combs said when he was asked about a beef with 50 in a 2018 interview with the radio show The Breakfast Club, Power 105.1 FM.
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
With Fifth. He loves me. He loves me.
Do y'all really
can't
have
see
a
it?
beef?
I mean, y'all can't see it.
No, we can't
Y'all
see
can't
it,
see
man.
that he loves me?
But see,
You really, hold on, you really think that's hate?
If you look at 50's social media, you can see he has a lot of posts about Diddy. And this is what he posted the day that federal agents in Miami raided Combs' mansion ahead of his arrest on the charges that he's now on trial for. 50 Cent posted on X, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case." 50 Cent also included a link to his G-Unit clothing brand in that post. While Diddy in the Breakfast Club clip said that 50 Cent actually loves him and there was never a beef, on the stand this week, Capricorn Clark said otherwise. Clark said that she was at this press event at MTV with Diddy and 50 Cent was also there, all of this happening in New York. Clark said, quote, "After the interview wrapped up, myself, Puff, and Chris Lighty got in the elevator." Clark said that Lighty was an entertainment manager who, on paper, was managing Diddy at the time, but was also 50 Cent's manager at the time. Prosecutors asked Clark what happened in the elevator, and she said, quote, "Puff told Chris, because they were having some sort of issue, like, I really don't like all the back and forth. I don't do that. I like guns." The prosecutor then asked, "What's the issue with an individual?" And Clark responded, he had an issue with 50 Cent. She said Combs was very serious when he said that. In this case, it has become common to hear testimony from witnesses about alleged threats by Diddy. In fact, several witnesses have said that Diddy regularly threatened to fire people, to beat people, like his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, and in this case, making a threat involving firearms to settle a dispute per the testimony of someone who was one of his closest associates for more than a decade. Invoking gun violence and some sort of veiled threat, that could be scary for some, but apparently not 50 Cent. On Instagram, 50 posted right after his name came up in the courtroom, quote, cut, wait a minute. Puffy's got a gun? I can't believe this. I don't feel safe," with a picture that looked like an AI image of 50 Cent on a movie set looking serious. And he wasn't done. Shortly after that, he posted another AI image on Instagram of him in a Yankees hat with a very scared look on his face with the caption, "Oh my goodness, itty bitty Diddy wants me dead. I have to lay low." Sad face emoji. "I think I'm gonna hide out at the playoff game tonight, LOL." Then the next day he posted what he did that night. He went to the NBA playoff game between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers in Indiana. And you can see him here in a picture on the floor in a shirt that reads, quote, free Diddy, playing into the trolling that 50 Cent has done to Sean Combs over the years, even before Combs was ever accused of what he is on trial for. Now, Combs' trial is expected to last another month at least. He's charged with racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and transport.
That's the danger. That's the nightmare for Diddy. Because 50 ? He's already cemented himself as a mogul. He's proven he can win in music, in business, in television, in culture. He doesn't need anyone's approval. He doesn't need to protect relationships. He can burn bridges and build new ones like it's nothing. And that freedom, that makes him untouchable. You can't silence a man who doesn't fear the system. You can't blackball someone who doesn't need your approval. And right now, 50 Cent is proving it with every single post, every comment, every ruthless piece of shade he throws Diddy's way. And the internet? Oh, it's eating this up. Every word 50 drops turns into a firestorm online. Fans dissect his every syllable. Bloggers spin headlines. Social media explodes. Suddenly, what once seemed like fringe rumors has become mainstream conversation. Diddy isn't just trending in gossip blogs anymore. He's trending everywhere. He's not just facing lawsuits in court. He's being tried in the court of public opinion. And let's be real, sometimes perception is more powerful than any evidence could ever be. That's why Diddy's unraveling, because this isn't just about lawyers and settlements anymore. This is about his image. And in Hollywood, once that image cracks, it rarely recovers, no matter how much money you throw at it.
Judge is going to give him a judgment of acquittal on those 2 counts based on the argument. Now, the more interesting argument to me, and it's their last argument for new trial, is that, listen, if you were just going to charge him with these 2 counts, which I originally said when I looked at all the evidence, and don't forget, I was getting calls during this trial from individuals that were telling me, hey, I have information that exonerates what they're saying against Sean Combs, essentially saying that Cassie and others were participating more than just having sex in a room. They were participating more than that. They were paying people, they were hiring people, they were sending me pictures even when Diddy wasn't around. They were asking me to come over even when Diddy wasn't around. These are what these witnesses were telling me, which is really Brady evidence. And I don't know if that was ever turned over. But the more interesting argument is that all these counts were charged. The only thing he was convicted of were the Mann Acts. And he probably wouldn't have been convicted of these Mann Acts, but for all this other stuff that came in to try and prove these counts that they could not prove and did not have a basis for bringing.
Let me just challenge you on that, because this is a jury who didn't find that there was sex trafficking. And I can't confirm that they found him guilty of the Mann Act because of the hotel video or anything else. I mean, it seems to me that they might have convicted him on that based on the travel records, the payment receipts, all about that. Not even necessarily allegations of violence. I mean, do you think that it was because of, let's say, the Intercontinental Hotel video that he was convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution? It always felt to me that they proved that charge based purely on, the documents.
Well, I always feel like during a trial, whenever you get a guilty verdict on one of the counts or 2 of the counts out of 6 or 7, you think to yourself, is it because of these other things that they brought up? How bad he is, he's not a good guy, the video came out. Sometimes juries will split the baby, meaning, there's people that want to convict, there's people that don't want to convict, and they're like, okay, let's convict him on these acts. We can all agree we can convict him on these acts. He's not a good guy. He transported these men across state lines. Let's convict him on this. There's always going to be a question of that. The only way to not have a question of that, obviously, is when the jury comes out, someone gives an interview and says, hey, this is why we did it, is because, this tape was so bad and these other incidents were so bad that we were like, we can't just let him walk with nothing. So we convicted him on the Mann Acts. Now, we don't have a juror saying that. Do I think eventually jurors are going to start coming out? Yeah, I think so. I think some of these jurors are going to come out. They're going to want to do some interviews, not before sentencing. And I think after sentencing, I think some of them will come out and we'll discuss it, because I think that was the feeling I was getting from this jury and the reactions they had to Comey's closing, and even the reaction just in general to the 5 or the 6 U.S. attorney team. I think their reactions in general were very noticeable, and I think that this is a jury that wants to talk to people once I think he gets sentenced.
Okay, so now let's move on to the pardon discussion. So if he can't get relief from the court in getting the conviction thrown out or a new trial, can he get relief through a pardon? Before we talk about, is this a real thing, what is the process to even obtain a federal pardon? How do you even go about that?
Sure. So it's a pardon or a commutation. If someone
Up. 50 replied in part, some of them were involved at the parties and enjoyed themselves, so they don't know what the F is on the tape or what's not on the tape. So they're not going to say anything because they might have had too much fun. And then you've got other people who look at it and go, well, that's not my business and I don't want to be in it. Then you got a part of our culture that says that's snitching or dry snitching. It's uncomfortable for me to say what I said because I've been saying this stuff for 4 or 5 years. Everybody else is not going to be as comfortable as I'm saying it. 50 Cent then alleged there's one famous friend that is aware of Diddy's alleged disturbing behavior. R&B legend Mary J. Blige, who got her start at Diddy's Bad Boy Records, has been a longtime friend of the embattled rapper and producer, but she reportedly has a great relationship with 50 Cent as well. When asked if Mary J. Blige reached out to 50, he responded, no, you know what? Mary never reached out to tell me not to F up Puffy because she knows he does that stuff. As Diddy and 50 Cent have long been in the rap game, they share another commonality, and that's 50 Cent's ex-girlfriend and the mother of his youngest son, Daphne Joy Navarez. The actress and OnlyFans model was named in Rodney Jones' suit against Diddy as she was referenced to as an alleged sex worker of Diddy's that also gets paid a monthly stipend. She has denied those allegations in a post made to social media, writing, "I am deeply hurt by the lies in Rodney Jones' lawsuit. The claim that I'm a sex worker is 100% false and character assassination. I am retaining an attorney to explore all legal remedies against both Rodney and his attorney." 50 Cent seemingly poked fun at the allegation of the mother of his son being an alleged sex worker. In a post made to his social media page, 50 wrote a caption, "I didn't know you was a sex worker, you little sex worker, LOL." But this would prompt Daphne Joy to respond to her ex again on social media, but this time would accuse 50 directly of rape and being abusive during their relationship. She would write in part, "Everything is a joke to you until our safety is compromised, which is happening now. You are wreaking real havoc, frenzy, and chaos onto people's lives. How would you feel if Sire was the one in handcuffs? For nothing. Let's put the real focus on your true evil actions of raping me and physically abusing me. You are no longer my oppressor, and my God will handle you from this point on. You have permanently damaged the last hope I had for you as a father to preserve our family with these last and final false claims made against me. You have broken our hearts for the last and final time." Those allegations against 50 Cent would prompt him to fire back against his ex Daphne Joy and sue her for defamation. In his suit, 50 Cent said those allegations were unequivocally false and would claim she made the shocking allegations in retaliation after he moved to take sole custody of their son. Since that suit, Daphne has deleted her Instagram post accusing 50 of rape and physical abuse. 50 Cent was asked by The Hollywood Reporter the latest in the defamation suit. The rapper and television producer said he tiptoes around the Daphne stuff and explained why. He said, "I got a family court case. The allegations that came out, she posted things to her page saying some crazy stuff. But this comes 8 hours."
Diddy's rage right now, it's not just anger, it's fear. Pure, raw fear from a man who's realizing that the narrative he spent decades carefully crafting is crumbling, piece by piece, right in front of his eyes. For so long, Diddy controlled the story. He was the mogul, the genius behind Bad Boy, the life of the party, the man with the power, the man who could silence dissent with just one phone call. But now, that control is slipping through his fingers, ripped away by someone who doesn't care about consequences, someone who actually enjoys tearing it all down. And the most disturbing part? The way 50 Cent's revelations line up perfectly with what's already happening in Diddy's world. The lawsuits, the raids, the allegations of abuse and exploitation, it all adds up. And when 50 speaks, it doesn't sound like gossip anymore. It sounds like confirmation. And once the public starts connecting dots, there's no stopping them. They dig deeper. They rewind old interviews, rewatch old videos, reinterpret every strange moment Diddy ever had on camera. Suddenly, clips that once looked harmless take on a sinister edge. That awkward laugh, that strange comment, that weird photo, now it all looks like evidence. And that's the real nightmare for Diddy. Because once the internet gets hold of a narrative, it doesn't let go. It snowballs, it grows, it multiplies. Every fan with a theory, every blogger with an agenda, every TikTok detective suddenly becomes part of the machine dismantling his image. And the industry, they're rattled too, because they know 50 isn't just clowning. He's pulling threads that could unravel everything. And those threads don't stop with Diddy. No, if Diddy falls, others might tumble with him. The whispers about those rooms, those parties, those nights, they're not just his whispers. They're tied to people with power, people with influence, people who've been untouchable for far too long. And that's why there's fear in the air, a thick, suffocating fear. Because everyone's asking the same question. If Diddy goes down, who's going with him? And guess what? 50 Cent knows that. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows the ripple effect this is causing, and he's leaning into it with a grin. Chaos? That's his playground. Destruction? That's his fuel. And when it comes to exposing people he believes deserve it, oh, he thrives on that. And Diddy's reaction? Explosive. Behind closed doors, sources say he's raging, fuming, unable to contain the humiliation of being exposed by someone he once considered his equal. And that's what makes this sting so much deeper. Because 50 isn't just mocking him, he's dismantling him, piece by piece, stripping away the mask, revealing the secrets Diddy has buried for years. And those secrets, they're not whispers anymore. They're headlines, they're viral tweets, they're front page news. And the picture they paint is so dark, so disturbing, even Diddy's harshest critics are left stunned. Because here's the truth. The dots are connecting, the puzzle pieces are falling into place, and the image forming is nothing short of devastating. Boiling inside, Diddy is no longer the untouchable mogul he once appeared to be. He's a man cornered, stripped of his usual weapons, control, influence, and the ability to silence anyone who dared to challenge him. For decades, he built his world around that power. But now, that power has vanished, shattered by someone who doesn't fear him, someone who relishes dismantling him, someone who has a platform just as massive. And that someone is 50 Cent. What we're witnessing isn't just anger, it's the collapse of a mask. Diddy's carefully curated facade, the polished image of the music mogul who could do no wrong, is cracking under the weight of ugly truths finally clawing their way to the surface. Every outburst, every rage-filled moment behind closed doors is proof that the man once in control has lost it all. But here's the chilling part. This isn't just about 50 versus Diddy. This isn't just a feud between two powerful men. What 50 is doing is far bigger. He's reshaping history. He's forcing everyone to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about Diddy. The artists he touched, the careers he supposedly nurtured, the empire he claimed to build. All of it is now being re-examined under a darker lens. And once history is rewritten like this, there's no erasing it. No PR strategy, no flashy interviews, no staged photo ops can undo the damage. Because from this point forward, Diddy won't just be remembered as the mogul who built Bad Boy Records. No, he'll be remembered as the man whose disturbing secrets finally caught up to him. The man who was exposed by someone he could never control. And here's the most devastating part. No matter how much Diddy rages, no matter how many times he tries to clap back, the damage is already done. Words like this, revelations this loud, cannot be taken back. They echo forever, amplified by millions online, dissected, memed, and shared until they become permanent. The hidden past? It's not hidden anymore. It's public property. Every disturbing detail is being chewed up by millions in real time, spreading like wildfire, and the harder Diddy tries to bury it, the louder it gets. This isn't just gossip anymore. It's a reckoning, the dismantling of a legacy, the fall of a man who once thought he was untouchable. 50 Cent has taken Diddy's darkest secrets and thrown them into the harshest spotlight imaginable. And the world is watching as an empire crumbles brick by brick while rage consumes the man at the center of it. Because here's the cold truth, nothing is more devastating than the truth spoken loudly and without fear. And that is exactly what's happening right now, as 50 continues to peel back the layers, exposing secret after secret until there's nothing left for Diddy but the ruins of the empire he once ruled.